All right. I think we are recording. Let's double check. Yes, we are. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And by the time you see this, it'll be good evening. I got a late start to my day today. I'll explain uh, a bit about that in just a second here. Welcome to episode number 11 of Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. As always, I am your host, Coach Eli, and I'm back at Red Morton Park pretty late today. It's shortly after 2 in the afternoon. And typically I'll do two daily walks, but today I'm only going to do one. I'm going to do a super long one today, like a 3 hour walk. And the reason is um, I was working on my secondary laptop that's been having some issues. And you may be asking why I have two laptops. Well, um, my older laptop was the only laptop I had for the past 10 years until I got another laptop about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago when I started my YouTube channel and I needed a faster processor, an i7 processor. And my older laptop didn't have the capabilities to even upgrade to an i7. The i7 processor wasn't even created when I got that older laptop. And my older laptop, I've been using it as a word processor, and it also has my Microsoft Office suite on it with, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Outlook, which has all my email accounts on it. And I have that separate from my new main laptop. And so the other laptop, my older laptop, has been having some issues. And I've been trying to fix it, and I think it's about time I'm going to be retiring it. I've just been spending way too much time trying to fix it over the past several years, trying to keep it up to date, trying to get it to work with newer drivers and stuff, and it's about time I retire it. So I spent, probably about 8 hours from 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. this morning until 1 or 1:30 or so this afternoon trying to fix it before I came back out here to Red Morton Park to do my first and only daily walk of the day today. So uh, that laptop also has some of my other Photoshop files on it and stuff like that that I need to, you know, continue working on bringing back my rebranded version of, my Coach Eli business that I've been working on bringing back for the past several weeks now. So it's only going to add a little further delay to some of the other things that are going to be happening with the Coach Eli brand. But just know, I'm not letting it get to me. I'm in progress. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do, whether I get another secondary laptop or I just get a bigger hard drive for the laptop I have now and figure out how to, get everything on one laptop and get it to work. I'm a tech guru, so I'm sure I'll figure something out. But yeah, it just kind of set a damper on my day. So anyway, but besides that, it is Wednesday. It is hump day. And yeah, we're halfway through the week. And, I'm still a bit under the weather, but I'm feeling better. And the weather is not as cold today as it has been the past couple of days. I think it's about 65, 66 degrees right now. So I'm just wearing my t-shirt and my shades and just, going around the park and doing my walk and getting my exercise. As part of my goal, which is what I'm trying to say, as part of my goal of continuing to get into the best shape of my life. I'm getting close to that six pack. I mean, I'm feeling really nice and tight down here. I don't know if you can see, but this is me. Let's just show you me. This is me. You want to see my stomach? See right there. It's all good. All right. You got a sneak peek there. For all you ladies out there that are into hot, sexy Greek men. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just kidding. Look, you ladies, mess around with us enough, you mess with our minds enough, it's about time us guys start pulling the same shit back towards you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just having a fun, you know, fun day here today. I'm just feeling good. I was kind of feeling a little shitty earlier because of my laptop, but now that I'm back at the park and I'm walking and just kind of letting those endorphins, flow out of me, it's subsiding any anxiety I had earlier over my laptop. So anyway, um, so let's go ahead and get to the topic of today's Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, episode number 11, the Daily Walk edition of Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And the topic is responding to Rachel in regards to the feminism video I did the other day, a few days ago, that she commented on. And after I'm done discussing that, we're going to talk about, is dating risky for men in today's modern world, financially and emotionally? So one more time, I'll repeat the topic here. First, going to be discussing, or I'll be responding to a comment that my good friend Rachel made on the video I did regarding feminism a few days back. And afterwards, I'm going to be discussing a very, 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 very interesting topic and critical topic. Is dating risky for men in the modern world, financially and emotionally? Now, most of you guys out there are thinking it's a financial risk. It's a financial risk because if we get married to a woman and we make more money than her, she'll take us for half our shit. Let me tell you something. Money can be replaced. Put it to you that way. Okay? The reason why I added emotionally as well is because I think us men more so pay the price emotionally than financially, and we just don't realize it. But anyway, let's get to Rachel here. Now, let me first of all make you all aware of who Rachel is. It's not her real last name. Her real name is Rachel, but she goes by Rachel Bugg on Facebook. I met Rachel on when I was on YouTube. Probably met her about probably 7-8 months ago or so, 9 months ago. When I was running my YouTube channel, she was a contributor on my channel. She was also a moderator on my channel, and she ran the Bugg's Life channel. And it was a pretty cool channel. She had just given birth to her baby while she was running it, and had some interesting experiences on that channel. So I found out about her through some other people, connected with her, and it's been a great connection. But I'll tell you, Rachel's young. She's in her 20s. Very mature for her age, but very much so a modern-day woman. No disrespect, Rachel. I have a lot of love for you. A lot of love for you and your husband and your baby. And she's out there in Washington, a couple states above where I'm at in California. There's California, Oregon, and then Washington. So she's on the West Coast, Pacific time zone. And, she is not afraid to step in and just speak her mind and say it as it is. And that's what I respect about her and people like her, okay? Any man or woman out there that's not afraid to say exactly what's on their mind, regardless of the repercussion or regardless of what anyone else, thinks about them, I have the utmost respect for you. It takes a lot of balls and guts to do that, and I have balls and guts. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to show my balls here. I showed you my stomach earlier, but this is a PG rated show, and I don't want to get kicked off of Facebook or any other platform this video may surface. And I know that there are some people out there in that crazy MGTOW community that I used to be involved with, the men going their own way community, which I'm no longer involved with and never getting involved with. They did some pretty crazy ass shit on their live streams. I mean, there were some lewd acts that happened on there. I'm not going to mention them. There was even one gentleman out there that I met when I first joined YouTube. He was one of the first guys I met in the MGTOW community, who actually, showed his thing on camera. It was just, oh man, I'm just gonna leave it at that. We're not gonna go any further than that. But anyway, so Rachel responded to my feminism video where I was discussing, that why do women label themselves a feminist? If they're a good, loving, caring, nurturing, understanding woman that appreciates men as well as the fact that they have rights in today's, modern world. Okay, I was saying that, women that feel the need to have that label of a feminist is similar to a man saying, okay, I'm going to label myself a male chauvinistic pig. And I still feel, the same way, right now in this present moment as I'm responding to Rachel. I have not changed my views, despite what Rachel said, but I do respect and appreciate what Rachel said. Rachel was saying that, feminists, or, a feminist is not bad. A feminist is one that, believes in, women having equal rights, this and that, etc. What Rachel said is something I used to say in the past when I was on YouTube, is that a radical feminist or radical feminism are those women that are not just satisfied with being equal to men nowadays. They want to be above men. Those are radical feminists that feel, they deserve special privileges in ways that men never had, even when, men were the only ones that had rights and women didn't have rights back in the days before the Civil Rights Act. Okay? So while that makes perfect sense, and I totally agree with Rachel, and that's the way that, the dictionary definition states it. I'm going to move over here for a second. I have my own personal opinion. Why do we need to label? Why do women need to label themselves a feminist? Why can't women just be happy that they have equal rights to men now? Okay? When men had more rights than women, we never shoved it in women's faces. We just did our shit. We just, went to work, kicked ass, provided for our family, and the woman did her thing at home, and everything was all honky-dory. But we didn't, go around saying that, hey, I'm a male chauvinistic pig, or I'm a dominant male, I'm a maleist. How do you even say the male version of feminist? Maleist? No, it doesn't even rhyme. Doesn't even make sense. The whole point I'm trying to make is that we don't need to have labels, to more so put something, out there in the public eye in this modern world than it already is. Women have their rights. Women have equal rights as men. The right to bear arms, equal pay for equal work. Equal pay for equal work. They have all the rights that we have. They can do the same things that we can do. I think some kids in the background were sitting there saying, "Hey, can I be in your vlog?" or some shit like that. I'm busy talking some important shit here, shit that you have no idea is going to be coming your way sooner than you think, dude. You're young right now. Enjoy it while you're young, because 5, 10, 15 years from now, dude, when when you start dealing with with women and they start liking you, you like them, and you start seeing what happens, man, you're gonna be like, wow, okay, can I be in your vlog now and share my horror stories? Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make here is that, look, men are men and women are women. Why are we making a big deal out of this in today's day and age? Give me 1 second here. Why are women making such a big deal about putting labels, or the big label of being a feminist, because they finally got equal rights? When was it? What? 64, 70, 80, 90, 2000. So what are you looking about? 50 something plus years ago? It's like we need to put it out there in lights and let everybody know that, hey, women have equal rights now. We already know that shit. Men don't have any labels on the fact that we've always had rights. Men have never made a big deal out of it. We just did our shit. We've always done what we've known that we needed to do. But see, the thing with women is, and no disrespect, I love women. This is just the way women are. Women like to put everything in the sky. Hey, I am a woman and I am a feminist and I have equal rights to men nowadays. Woohoo! Give me an F. Give me an E. Give me an M. Give me an I. Give me an N. Give me an I. Give me an S. Give me a T. What does it spell? Feminist! Yay! I think I spelled that right. You get my fucking hint there? I'm not trying to take anything away from women. And Rachel, I'm not trying to take anything away from you at all. I respect you and any woman out there that is a normal, decent, loving, caring, down-to-earth lady that does not take advantage of the system in today's modern world like many women do. But in my opinion, there is no need to even have the label of feminist or feminism. I mean, when you say feminism, it almost sounds like an attack on men. Well, today is about feminism. Okay, that's cool. So let's pretend that all men left to face the planet. Like all these MGTOW guys, these men going their own way guys, they're like, we want to lead the plantation. That way women have no men left, right? So if there were no men on this planet, it was just all a bunch of women, would there be a need to even have the title of feminist or feminism? Think about it. All I'm saying, and Rachel, I'm totally with you. I get where you're coming from. I respect you dearly. You're an awesome person. All I'm saying is that we don't need these labels. I'm a man. You're a woman. We're human beings. We're kind, caring, loving, caring, loyal, and considerate people. At least some of us are. I hope to believe that most people are good out there. There are some shitty people out there. But I do hope that, most people out there are good people with good intentions and good manners and shit. Okay? But again, there's no need for fancy labels to put something out there in lights, such as women's lib, women's empowerment and all that shit. There's no need to amplify that more than it's already been amplified. We get the fucking hint. I'm not being bitter. I support it. I support women, but enough is enough. Enough is enough. We get the point. We get the point. And that's all I was trying to say, Rachel, is that, hey, I'm not taking anything away from you or any other woman that has equal rights. I'm very happy. Okay? But I think that's just gone way too far. And I think even some of the good women out there are being indoctrinated into a system they really don't want to be indoctrinated into, and they're being led to believe that, you know, being labeled a feminist is a good thing. Quite frankly, any woman that labels herself a feminist, you know, makes me think twice. You know, it kind of throws me off. I'm like, you know, Gemma Grace, who's connected with me on Facebook, you know her, Rachel. She commented on the same video you commented on. And she was basically saying that I'm a feminist, and she was kind of offended by the video initially, but then I kind of explained to her how I felt about it. I don't think Gemma Grace is a feminist. I think she's just a strong, loving, caring, independent, modern-day woman that's doing whatever it takes to make it on her own to survive in this world. And I respect that. I fully respect that. Now, let me just come over here real quick, because we're going to be passing by some people here. Give me just 1 second. Okay. Wow. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. People drive so crazy out here. All right, so I think I said enough about my response to Rachel there. And I've pretty much almost done one lap around the park. So let's get to the main topic of this episode here today. And we're going to talk about, you know, is dating risky for modern men, you know, in today's day and age, financially and emotionally, you know? And we could even, you know, go further and say, is marriage risky? It's riskier. I'll say that for damn sure, because then you're, you know, combining assets at that point. And then it's really critical to be with the right person, because, you know, if you're a man that makes, you know, 200 grand a year and you're with a woman that only makes 40 or 50 and you're with her for 10 years, who's going to be, you know, accruing more assets during that time? You, the man. Now, in many cases in today's day and age, the woman makes more than the man. And I've seen in many cases, you know, that the woman's been taken for half her shit in divorce. So, you know, guys, just so you know, it's not about, you know, the man being taken for half his shit. It's the breadwinner, which could be the man or the woman. But when you look at the stats, even in today's day and age, even though there are more female breadwinners in the household than there were in the past, 70% of the breadwinners in the household today are still men, and 30% are women, where in the past used to be 100% zero. So women have come a long way. Congratulations, and I'm happy for you. So there's still a far greater risk for men to get married in today's day and age. But let's even go before that. Let's talk about dating, where there's no legal tie, and how that can still fuck you up as a man. Okay? And what your risks are. Because I'm going to share two stories regarding my last two relationships. Now, I got nothing bad to say about my exes, but shit just happens. Shit happens. Okay? You invest your time, and when you take your woman out, you invest your money. And when it doesn't work out, you know, especially if she's the one that broke it off with you, which in my last two relationships, both my exes broke it off with me. One of them cheated on me. You folks know the story about her. If you paid attention to my past videos, the veterinarian. So, you know, that ended our relationship. And then my last relationship, you know, my ex broke it off with me over a few insecurities that could have been easily talked through and fixed. And, you know, I had a slight behavior issue that I didn't even realize I had, that I learned from the relationship. And because of that, she broke it off with me. Did nothing wrong. I didn't cheat on her. You know, I didn't lie to her. I think the insecurities that I kept from her, she considered them lies, but they weren't intentional lies. I just felt it wasn't the right time to talk about those things because I didn't want to burden her with those things yet, and those things that I didn't tell her that she found out about that caused part of our breakup, you know, weren't affecting our relationship or weren't going to affect it in any way, shape, or form. Okay? But she considered them lies. And she felt that I didn't trust her enough to tell her those things. It's not that I didn't trust her. I just wasn't ready to tell her those things because, you know, those things were personal to me and I didn't want to affect our relationship. I didn't want to take any chance, you know, at that point to bring down what we had. So I was being considerate to her wants and needs at the same time as mine. But she didn't see it that way. That's what happens when women are emotional. They see it the emotional way. They don't see it the logical way. So if we go back to 2 relationships ago with the veterinarian that cheated on me. Okay? Let me tell you the interesting thing here on how, you know, risky relationships are, not just financially, but more so emotionally. And it'll hurt you more emotionally than financially. Because like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you can replace money. It stings to lose money. You know, especially if you've been with somebody for many years and you spend a lot of money. And you spend a lot of money. I think the fire engine's coming to the park. See the fire truck right there? Threw me off for a second because I thought the fire truck was waiting for me. The emotional aspect's going to hurt you a lot more than the money is, because like I said, money can be replaced, even though, you know, it stings to lose money. Okay. Now, going back to the relationship with the veterinarian that cheated on me. When I first met her, we hit it off like a rocket, and she was legally separated, going through divorce. And I had been through some relationships before to the point of where, you know, I wasn't going to tell a woman I love her for quite a long time until I was 100% sure. So I had no intentions of telling this girl I loved her anytime, probably during the first 3 to 6 months of the relationship, even if it got that point, which it did, but you never know. I didn't know at the time when I first met her. Okay, so about 2 months into the relationship, we were on our way to a networking event that I was taking her to. And while we were driving there, it was about an hour drive, you know, I asked her, "Hey, babe, what's your relationship like with your father?" She goes, "Well, my father's a narcissist. I don't like him. He's a piece of shit. He's an asshole. He's a jerk. You know, I've never gotten along with him," and blah, 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 blah. She totally went off. And I was like, holy shit. Should I have even asked her that shit? And I tried to talk with her about it, and she's like, I just don't get along with him. And I told her, I said, look, her and I were dating for 2 months. We had a great relationship, and I wanted kids, she wanted kids, so we started talking about marriage, but we weren't going to get married for a couple of years if we were going to do it. But I told her, I said, you know what? If I'm going to marry someone, I want to have a good relationship with their family. I want to have a good relationship with your father and your mother and your entire family. I told her family's important to me. And she goes, well, my father's kind of a strange guy, so, good luck with him. And I said, are you saying that I'm not man enough to stand up to your father? And she goes, you don't know my father. I said, that's right, I don't know your father. I haven't met him yet. And it would be a great pleasure to meet him one day. At that point right there, I just started noticing some negative shit about her. And what I should have done at that point is, after that day ended, is just call it quits. But no, I didn't do that. I continued to see her. And what happened 2 weeks later, we were at her place. This was like week 10. And like clockwork, when you're with a woman that really likes you, wants to have a future with you, or wants something from you, okay, she's going to try to get you to profess your love for her around week 10 to week 12, 2.5 to 3 months in. So here's what happened. Okay, I'd spent the night at her place, and she had the next day off. Got up the next morning, I made coffee, I was on my laptop. She came downstairs from the bedroom. She comes up to me right by the counter where my laptop was at, where I was working. And she said, how do you feel about me? And I said, you know how I feel about you. I really like what we have. I enjoy your company. I enjoy spending time with you. You're a cool person. You're a cool chick. She goes, no, how do you really feel about me? And then I'm like, I just told you how I feel about you. I think you're a great person. You're fun to hang around with. I think you're hot. I think, you're smart, this and that. And she goes, no, how do you really feel about me? And you know what? I knew exactly where she was fucking going with this the moment she asked me the first time. She's trying to get me to profess my love for her so she can reel me the fuck in. And I looked at her and I said, oh. So I looked at her, I played stupid, because you know what? Sometimes most men won't pick up on this shit. And women know that. Women are much more intuitive than men, with the exception of Coach Eli, because Coach Eli is one of the few intuitive guys out there that will challenge any woman's intuition out there on the planet. I'm not trying to be cocky by saying that. Maybe I am being cocky. Who gives a shit? But I picked up on that. I still played dumb. I said, oh. She starts smiling and shit, right? Because she knew I had picked up on it. She figured I finally picked up on what she was trying to get me to say. The truth of the matter is, I picked up on it the moment you mentioned it, girl. I just wasn't ready to profess my love to you. I said, let me guess. You're trying to get me to profess my love for you. And she starts smiling and shit, and like, yeah, all giddy and shit, and getting all happy and shit. I'm like, fuck, man. Totally not ready to say that shit either. Totally not ready. Just feeling blindsided. Fucking blindsided, right? And, she was still legally separated at this time. And I was waiting for her to get her divorce finalized, which it was going to be finalized, over the next couple months or so. And then I was going to tell her, I said, you know what? I was hoping to wait to tell you and profess my love for you once you finalize your divorce. but you'd rather not me do that, would you? She's like, so I fucking professed my love for her. I fucking caved. I gotta say, if I look back at that moment right now, that was one of the most biggest fucking pussy moments of my life. What a big fucking pussy I was. God, can't believe I caved for that shit. Now, if I honestly felt it, I'm not saying I didn't somewhat feel it, because I enjoyed her company, but I wasn't 100% ready to profess that on my own. It felt totally forced. But I also felt like if I didn't do it, that it was going to just take a toll on our relationship, and then, we would be done, which would have happened down the road after that was chaotic. I've shared the rest of the story, in other videos, but to make a long story short, her divorce didn't only take 2 additional months to finalize. It took like 6 additional months. And she kept prolonging it because she didn't have the best negotiating skills, and, she didn't know how to, try to, get a better deal between the settlement, between her, regarding the settlement between her and her husband. She didn't know how to negotiate the best deal, and she was scared to approach her husband, and it was so fucked up. And throughout this whole time, it was annoying me that it was taking so long for her to finalize her divorce that I lost attraction for her. I wasn't sleeping with her as much. I stopped taking care of myself. I gained some weight. And then guess what? Behind my back, she was, talking to some, new, veterinarian doctor at her work. And she was banging this guy behind my back, lining up my replacement. And then I've shared the story in the past in other areas, but for the rest of you that haven't heard this story, the way I found out she was cheating on me was one night. I was at her place with a mutual friend of ours that I introduced her to through a networking event. We were at her place all day while she was working because we're both entrepreneurs. And she was supposed to come home, meet us for dinner at 7 o'clock at night. 7 o'clock comes. She sends me a text saying, I'm going out with friends tonight, so I'm not going to be able to make dinner. You and Aaron, go and have dinner and do your thing, and I'll let you know when I'll be back. And I'm like, okay, fuck, no big deal. I'm not a fucking, what do you call it? I'm a trusting guy. I'm not insecure. I'm not the jealous type. I trust her. I'm like, fuck it, no big deal. I'll hang out with my buddy. We'll have some drinks and enjoy her nice big house that she's living in. Okay? So, 11 o'clock comes, she's not back yet. 12 o'clock, midnight comes, she's not back. I text her. She gets back to me at 12:30. She says, there's another fire truck going over there. Wow. Interesting. 12:30 after midnight, she says, still with friends, be home soon, and that's that. So 1 o'clock comes, she's not home. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., she's not home. 3 a.m., haven't heard from her. 4 a.m., haven't heard from her. 5 a.m., haven't heard from her. 6 a.m., haven't heard from her. 7 a.m., haven't heard from her. 8 a.m., still haven't heard from her. Typically, I'd sleep upstairs in the bed with her. But I was downstairs where our buddy Aaron was sleeping on the couch. He was sleeping on the couch, and I was just, sleeping against the wall, facing him, waiting near the front door, praying that something bad didn't happen to my woman. So around 8:30 or 9, I hear this car pull in. And what ended up happening is she just pulled into the driveway where typically she would pull into the garage. But because the garage had an automatic garage door opener that would make noise, she pulled into the driveway and tried to sneak in. What a narcissistic bitch, let me tell you that. I've never called her that before, but fuck it, she's a narcissistic bitch. And she called her ex-husband a narcissist. That was the most narcissistic thing I've ever seen any woman ever do. That's called her ex-husband a narcissist. What a fucking hypocrite, right? So, excuse me. So anyway, so she pulls in, right? And then instead of coming through the side door after entering the garage, she came through the front door, which she never comes through. She comes in, and I'm right there waiting for her. And her hair's all fucked up and shit. She looked like she just got the fucking shit plowed out of her. She looked like she got it pretty damn good. Probably better than I ever gave it to her. And who knows? Maybe I deserved it. I'm laughing at this shit now, man. It makes a fucking hell of a story. But but I'll tell you, in that moment, the emotions were fucking. I was like, I was speechless. I was fucking speechless. I looked at her and I said, "How you doing?" I'm not going to mention her name out here. She goes, "Good." I said, "Let's go upstairs. We need to talk." Went upstairs. And, oh, the part of the story I left out was about two and a half months before this incident happened. I was at my place and she was at her place. This veterinarian that cheated on me. And, she had been complaining that, her doctor's office was short-staffed and they needed to hire a doctor. So on that particular phone call, like 2.5 months before this incident happened that I'm going to continue talking about here in a second, I asked her, I said, "How's work going?" She goes, "Oh, work's going really, really well now. We just hired this new doctor, and he's a really, really nice guy, and him and I get along really, really well." And I was sitting on the phone at my place and her at her place, and I'm listening to her tone of voice, and she sounded so excited. She sounded like she was in love with the guy. And that's the one thing with women. Women are the worst fucking bullshitters. They can't even lie to you if they wanted to save their face in this situation. Like, it was so fucking apparent that she was into this guy. But there was no proof. And if I would have called her on it at that point, she could have said, "Oh, I'm just happy that we have a new doctor," right? But guess what? Let's fast forward to the story I was just talking about. Now we're upstairs after she came back the next morning. Okay? I said, "You know what? Let me guess. You weren't with friends last night. Let me tell you where you were at. Let me remind you of a phone call you and I had about 2.5 months ago, where you told me that your work hired this new doctor, and you told me that he's a really, really nice guy, and you and him get along really, really well." I remember that conversation we had. You remember that conversation? She's like, "Yep." I said, "Let me guess. You were not with your friends last night. You were with him." She looked at me and said, "Yes." And I'm going to just leave it at that, because the rest of the story doesn't need to be told. It speaks for itself. Okay? I did a lot for this woman. She had 2 cats and 2 dogs. I took care of them for a 2-week period while she was on vacation. I bought groceries for her many times because she was struggling financially. Her divorce almost made her go bankrupt. I helped her out in so many ways. I invested so much money, time, and emotion. And the way she repays me is by riding some other guy's dick. So, guys, when I say that relationships in the modern world for men are very risky, not only financially, emotionally as well, let me tell you something. I've replaced that money since that time. It's not that big of a deal. But let me tell you, what she did to me really fucked me up for a while. And it really pissed me off. And it affected me in my next relationship, which I just, got out of because, I was broken up with about 3 months ago. My next relationship was with a much better woman that really loved me and would tell me that she loved me all the time. And in my last relationship, I actually felt like I did love this woman. But the reason why I never told her was because of what happened in my previous relationship. I was afraid of saying it too soon and then getting hurt. Now, had I still been with this woman today, I would have eventually told her that I love her because I did love her. Okay? But that's where things that's where things get fucked up right there. What more can I say before I wrap this up? I think this video is getting a bit long. We are at 46 minutes. I know I need to wrap it up soon. I don't mind doing an hour-long video today because it's the only video I'm going to be doing. My last relationship, I invested even more time, money, emotion, effort, etc., than even in the relationship I just mentioned with the veterinarian that cheated on me. And I don't regret in this last relationship doing anything for this woman, her family, her kids. I really enjoyed it. Okay. We went on many vacations. We went to Mount Shasta. We went to Oregon. We went to Mount Shasta twice, Oregon once. Went to Tahoe a few times. Went camping near the Tahoe area with her family. Gosh, we went to near the Fresno area. We went to go see the what do you call it? There's the Sun-Made Raisins corporate headquarters down there. I forgot what that city is called. Kingsburg, I believe is what it's called, like south of Fresno. We went down to King City and San Luis Obispo and Hearst Castle. And so many other places, too many places to mention. We did many hikes all over Northern California. We did many dinners at nice restaurants. Spend lots of time with her family, etc. I mean, there's so many things. Spend time with her kids. Let me tell you something. Yes, it cost me a lot of fucking money. It did. But that's not what the most major risk was that I feared in that relationship and that most men fear nowadays. And I'm telling you guys, if you're fearing losing your money, then you're an idiot, because let me tell you something. Your emotions are much more important. Even though you're a man and you think your emotions are bulletproof because they're supposed to be, because we're men and we're supposed to be the fucking rock, and we're not supposed to feel any fucking emotion, huh? Let me tell you something, it fucking stings, man. The emotional loss of all that is 1,000,000 times worse than any money I spent the entire time. I enjoyed spending the money and I had a great time. But it's the emotion that hit me the most. And whether most of you guys can admit it or not out there, what I notice, especially with these MGTOW guys, a lot of these guys complain about being taken for half their shit and all that, but the bottom line is, I really don't think they're concerned about the fucking money. Maybe some of them are, if they're flat broke because of it, okay. But I think they're more upset because of the emotional loss, because they gave it their all, or at least they thought they did. See, for me, I give it my all in every single one of my relationships. But I also know I'm not perfect. I know that I make mistakes, but I make honest mistakes. Okay? I also know as a man that any insecurities that I bring into a relationship are going to make me look weak. But why is it that women are allowed to have all the fucking insecurities in the world? You know, they're allowed to be emotional all day, every fucking day. And then we have to put up with that shit and console them. But when we have one moment or a couple insecurities, they hold that against us and then they run for the fucking hills. Why is it like that? And that's why I say a relationship, especially in the modern world nowadays, where, you know, women are not dependent for a man to survive. They will leave you at the drop of a dime. They will leave you instantaneously the moment that you fuck something up or the moment they feel something's off. Even if what you did was unintentional. Think about it. I can understand if, as a man, you were doing things to intentionally hurt your partner. But if you did some things unintentionally or held some things that were personal to you that you didn't want to bring up yet, that didn't affect the relationship and weren't going to affect it, okay? You weren't intentionally trying to hurt your partner. That was unintentional. You know, for the woman to hold that against you, I'll be honest, it just fucking stings. It's not fair. It's like a war between a man's logical mind and a woman's emotional state, because that's where the battle is at. It's just very risky. It's very risky because women's emotions are in the moment, and their emotions change moment to moment, depending on how they're feeling at that present moment, based on how you're making them feel or how anyone else around them is making them feel. Or maybe if it's cold, they might feel a shitty way. Or if it's too hot, they might feel a different way. There are many variables that affect a woman's emotions. And in many of those cases, it has nothing to do with you, but it can affect you. So it's a risk. No matter how good the woman is, you know, all it takes is for her emotions to turn for one of many reasons that are out of your control, and then you're done after you've invested a lot of time, money, effort, and most importantly, emotion. You know what? I could care less about anything else except for one thing, and I'm going to wrap it up by saying this. The thing that stings the most is the emotional investment. That's the biggest risk right there, guys. Yes, it hurts to lose money. And trust me, I don't spend money on anyone or anything I don't feel has value. But when it comes to emotions, let me tell you, once you create an emotional bond, once a man gives his heart to a woman, because we all know it's very difficult for a man to let go of his heart. It's very difficult for a man to profess his love to a woman. It's not because he doesn't want to do it. It's because once he does it, he's in for life. But we also know that women's emotions are in the moment, and they can withdraw at any moment, especially in today's day and age, where, you know, women have been liberated and they're independent. They don't need us. They can walk away at any time. They're not dependent on sticking around with us to keep a roof over their head and food in their stomach and clothes on their back. So it's a big risk because men are certain with our emotions because we think logically with our emotion. Okay, at least most of the time. Sometimes, you know, we can lose it emotionally, which is not a good masculine trait to have. But we're certain with our emotion. And that's why it's harder for us to emotionally give in, because we know how easy women can change their minds about how they're feeling about us. In many cases for no apparent reason. Now, in some cases, there's a good enough reason. But I've seen many women break it off with men for no apparent reason. And the guy was fully emotionally invested, and he was hurt. And some men have done crazy things because of that. Some men have even committed suicide over shit like that. So, ladies, you got to think about how you treat your men. And you gotta seriously, I need to do more videos with ladies, really sharing how their emotions work, especially in the modern world nowadays, because it's really affecting men. I'll be honest, it's affected me, and it just plain sucks. And that's why I want to do this video today, because I really wanted to clearly put this out there in a way where people understand what the real risk is of a man dating in today's modern world. Money can be replaced, guys. Your emotions, that's a different story. That can create a whole mess of other issues that could lead you down a path of drinking. It can lead you to severe anxiety. It can lead you to smoking, doing drugs, doing other things to subside the pain of the separation anxiety that you feel after a woman breaks it off with you once you've committed to her emotionally. So that's where I'm going to wrap this up today. Wow, what a long-ass video, 56 minutes. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to do about another 4 more laps here at the park. And then I am going to go home and call it a night. So if there's a topic that you want me to tackle for you, just comment below this video wherever you see it, and I'll make that happen for you ASAP. Have a great night, everyone. I'll talk to you all soon. See you all tomorrow. See you all tomorrow, which is what I'm trying to say. God, I can't even talk.